the cloud. Okay. Hello. Good evening. I'm Glenda Carlin, and this is our Tuesday night A Course in Miracles in Tibetan Buddhist get together Zoom meeting, February 17th, 2026. February 17th, 2026. And tonight's going to be kind of a continuation of last week, where I was talking about this blue book that we're reading in Buddha Standard Time. Buddha Standard Time. Buddha Standard Time is the fourth time, nowness awareness, the eternal now. That's our natural time where God lives and your Christ Buddha nature lives. Doesn't your Christ Buddha nature, God nature, doesn't live in the past or the future or the present good bad moment. It lives in nowness awareness only, free of all thoughts, feelings, evaluations, and perceptions. The pure, clear light of God's presence now, now, now. You see it and you realize it animates and and it energizes, infuses everything, animate and inanimate. There's only God presence appearing as these look like separate objects. And because, like, I look separate from Ed and Lynn and Jerry and Dee and Debbie, it looks like we're separate, but we're not. That's what the illusion is. This clear light is streaming through everything equally, continuously, evenly through everything. And that clear light has various colors. Even black is only pure light, pure clear light. And that brings up, I'm reading this book called The Inner Journey Home by Amid Ali. It's like a 700-page book. And in it, I'm reading about quintessence, which is the nowness moment of this clear light. And it's the first book I've read that really describes some of these colors. And when you look in your mind, you generally see blackness. I've never had anybody explain to me, other than that Lama Surya says black is all light. I've never applied black to the blackness I saw in my mind. But when you see blackness in your mind, that's God's presence. And it looks black because the light is so everywhere. There's nowhere the light is. It's so tightly compressed. It looks black. Now, if you other times you look in your mind, it'll be shiny. The black is shiny. That shininess is the creativity. It's really the world, the universe sparkling on that black light, with that black light. And remember when I looked at my two eyes within the mirror, and I was drawn to the single eye, and I looked up the Great Ray Tube, there was this clear light that had just a sparkle to it, just sparkle, 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 just shiny, shiny, shiny. It was the universe. That sparkle, sparkle is the universe of all the forms that radiates and reabsorbs from this black God light. Well, in this book, it also described, because I would see gray in my mind, and it explained what gray is. Or first explain what clear light is. Clear light is the glow of the blackness. Well, then that makes sense. Clear light is the glow of the blackness. And when the mind is open to God's presence, the juxtaposition of clear light with the blackness, picture that, clear light and blackness, juxtaposition. I had to look up that meaning of that word. It means close to. Because those two things are so close, the mind can't evaluate it, can't process it, and it comes up with a gray color. Really gray color. So that really, I went, woo, that's cool. Okay, but anyway, tonight's topic is really about the rejoining of the left and right sides of the brain hemisphere that we started last week, where I was talking about in this book, Buddha Standard Time. Lama Suryadas talks about Jill Bolte Taylor, a Harvard trained neuroscientist who recognized she was having a stroke. And later they realized it was a blood clot the size of a golf ball in the left side of her brain. And because she felt it occurring, she got help and didn't die. But anyway, that blood clot stopped the left. I'm pointing at it, the left side of the brain hemisphere. You Google this. I want you to Google this because this is understanding these two hemispheres, which are the physical realm and the spiritual realm, are right there in your physical brain, the right and left hemispheres. The left shut down, and guess what? She was open to and saw only the right hemisphere, and everything was like a blue sky, just spacious and just spacious and blissful, and it felt interconnected. Um, uh, Oneness, words that had a ness to them, which showed she was experiencing God's presence. And that's the right side. Well, in between these two hemispheres is called a strip of nerves called corpus callosum, Callosum. Please Google this because it's a bridge. And the Course of Miracles talks about the bridge, crossing the bridge. Well, here's a bridge between left and right brain. Now, I want to continue this because right brain controls the left side of the body. The right brain, you can picture like a line comes across your face and goes to the left side of your body. Left brain controls the right side of the body. And those two, picture those two lines, look how they like are a spiral. They make a figure eight. They make like a figure eight, or what I call like an airplane propeller. But the thing is, I had to search my documents. Back in December 22nd, 2022, December 11th, 2022, not quite, well, 3.5 years ago, I taught about the Merkabah Star. And here is a little, this is like a quartz example of it. But a Merkabah star, oh, I Googled it. I want to see if I can find it. When we're awakened, fully awakened, because there's various stages, here is a picture of what we look like. It's a Merkabah star, encircles the body, and actually is in the body. It's a seven-pointed star, but it consists of two pyramids. One pyramid's pointing up, one pyramid's pointing down, and where they intersect, there's an intersecting, overlapping area, and inside it is the body. And in the center of this six-pointed star is the center still point of the Great Ray. Now, why I'm explaining this is this simple, when we fell asleep to us being a Merkabah star, each of us floating in the big sphere of God's presence, like stars. When we fell asleep, guess what happened? That whole star collapsed upon a single line. And that single line pictures running across your forehead. And at the end of each line is a drop. On the right side, there's the spirituality consciousness drop. And on the left side is the physical consciousness drop. So we got physical consciousness, spiritual consciousness within the form, and the great ray comes in the middle. That's connecting you directly to source. But in the creation of the form, the creator awareness created yin yang, opposite forces called masculine and feminine, physical and spiritual. You created these forces and used them to create the five elements and then made form from it. But the thing is, everything's collapsed to this single line. Each time that you practice Trechet or Jesus's advanced forgiveness, opening occurs. And this bridge that's between the two is all clogged up with thoughts, judgments, evaluations, names, labels, sorting, tunus thoughts that we've had. It's all clogged up. But every time over here in the left hemisphere, if you practice Trechet or Jesus's advanced forgiveness, meditation of sky gazing or space mingling, I made a list here, mindfulness of what you're doing while you're doing it, saying silent things to yourself like there's nothing to see and no one seeing it. Because at each short moments repeated many times of doing these basic practices, integrating them within your daily life. Each moment you do that, you get a moment of openness, spaciousness that opens this bridge, this straight line where the left brain's communicating with the right brain. Every time you do that, that drop that's over here of physical consciousness, it starts moving across that bridge. I am not kidding you. This is physical things that happen that moves across the bridge. It's coming over here to join with this drop of spirituality. And then it goes back. Then you practice some more and it comes over and you're opening the bridge. With enough opening of this bridge, guess what happens? The single line changes to a triangle on each side of the brain. A triangle. A triangle is made up of three lines, all equal in length. So picture a triangle. The very top point on the left side is that yang drop, masculine drop. And the leg of this one leg of the triangle, to me, is time and distance. The other leg is the belief in a self and others. And the bottom line of the triangle is the groundless ground of God's presence. So there's a triangle sitting over here on this side with the point facing outward that's got that drop on it. And over here there's another triangle, but that's the spiritual triangle. And one leg of that is timelessness, no distance. And the other one leg that's of no belief in there's no self, no separate self and other. And that bottom common ground line that's the groundless ground of God's presence. So now you got two flat triangles. These are called sacred geometry. God's awareness, when it funneled the great ray and created this yin and yang, these two opposing masculine and feminine energies, with the great ray created sacred geometry of triangles, pyramids, cubes, squares. They're called platonic solids. Just Google it. This is a whole lesson in your sacred geometry that's within this body, that's awakening as you practice. But anyway, so as you practice more Trechet, more forgiving, more seeing through, cutting through to see clear light or think of clear light, look what's happening. The triangles are moving across the bridge. Ultimately, with enough practice, guess what? The triangles overlap each other. The groundless ground of God's presence overlap these two realms, heaven and earth, physical and spiritual. But then they free up. They ascend and descend. So what I want to express too, just because you have an experience of ascension and then the drop comes down, doesn't mean we've made it, because this occurs many, many times, because it's this healing is occurring as space is opened up in this corpus callosum, this cable of nerves, to where the two sides of the mind, hemispheres of the mind, are talking to each other, communicating, mixing. Ultimately, with enough clean letting go of thoughts, feelings, perceptions, stopping judging, sorting, naming, and labeling, it's such a big deal. You open up more and more, these two triangles, they stay put, they stay overlapped. And guess what happens? Then they tilt to make pyramids. Each triangle, this side makes a pyramid, the other side makes a pyramid, and and oh, wait, first they make pyramids and they're a flat square. You practice more, 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 and the pyramids then tilt up out of this square to make this Merkabah star, a six-pointed star. You see, let's see if you can see if I'm showing this. Oh, yeah. See how there's a triangle right here? There's a triangle right here. That's a pyramid. Then there's another triangle right above it. They merge. And where they overlap, that's the still center point where also the great ray comes in. Well, what I want to get to is on, when was it? The 13th. Prior to the 13th of February, for a few days, I felt the great ray light put a lot of pressure on my forehead, particularly the left side of my brain. And see, that's healing this left hemisphere that believes in the separate self and others, uh, freeing up thoughts of separation to where that drop in that triangle and then later the pyramid could join over with the other side of the mind. So, what I'm discussing is not foo foo. This is actual sacred geometry that happens within the body and the mind. But this six-pointed star is around the body, but also there's a picture above my head. There's a point. There's a triangle that comes down to, let's see, it goes to the throat. It goes to the throat. There's a triangle right here, and it includes the chakras of crown, third eye. I wrote it down here. Oh wait, aura. Aura is the eighth chakra that integrates all the light of all the chakras. There's the aura chakra, crown, third eye, and throat. That's in this. It's called a higher pyramid. I'm not kidding you. It's called a higher pyramid. And then and then there's a lower pyramid of chakras, and those are the solar plexus chakra, sacral chakra is below the belly button, and the root chakra. Those are the lower chakras. Those are the yang. That's considered the yang, and that triangle points down, and at the bottom of that point is that yang drop of consciousness that will rise up this central channel, etc. But anyway, on the 13th, it was a Wednesday. No, I think it's a Monday. I think that's I thought I had my notes straight. Yeah. It was the 13th, the 11th, February 11th. I was meditating with that Zoom group, and my feet came out of the flip flops, and I noticed my right foot was making a circle, and my left foot was making a circle all on its own. The feet were kind of like a couple inches off the floor. And I decided to tune into that. And what I found was my right foot, I didn't get this straight. my, my right foot was turning clockwise. Clockwise. My right foot was turning clockwise. My left foot, I am not kidding you, was turning counterclockwise. And see, what that's doing is this yin and yang, these two pyramids, the upper pyramid, which is the yang, it turns clockwise. And the yin pyramid turns counterclockwise. So my feet were circling in the directions of the yin and yang because these light forces were joining in my mind, becoming an actual thing where the two drops within these two pyramids. So picture the two pyramids. There's a top drop and a bottom drop. The top drop descended, the bottom drop ascended to where they joined. And then when the weight of them caused them to drop into this heart chakra and the still center of the great ray. Now, something unusual I learned was the heart chakra is in neither upper pyramid or lower pyramid. It's in the triangle. It's in the area that overlaps the two, no, that overlaps these two pyramids, the heart chakra. So when this occurred, if I think it was Monday, yesterday, I heard like a thump or a drop, something drop. And I got to looking within my body, and I saw this block of stillness. I'm not kidding you, it was a square. It was a square of stillness, meaning it was invisible light. It was a square, but it was invisible and it was still. And then when I researched these upper and lower triangles and the chakras that were in them, that's when I learned this overlapped area between these two triangles, it makes like a square. And that's where that I was looking into this stillness, where there's no movement, very little movement of this counter rotating rotation, counterclockwise rotation, and the clockwise rotation cause winds that that liberate these thoughts, feelings, emotions, and judgments that we've stored up in our mind body continuum. These, as you awaken, this sacred geometry awakens, and natural winds occur that help free these naming, labeling, and judging that's been clogged up the mighty mind continuum. So they liberate. Or what happens, something will rise up and you'll think, oh, I hadn't thought about something like that in years. Well, that came up because it needs to be looked at, forgiven, and let go of because it's being broke loose due to these winds of the yin and yang of this counter rotating pyramid and this counterclockwise rotating pyramid and the clockwise rotating pyramid. They're spinning, one spinning clockwise and the one below it is spinning counterclockwise. And I would sit in my chair and have to lean back because in my mind I see these and body, I see these two pyramids are stacked one on top of the other, but they're overlapped. The top one is spinning clockwise and the bottom one's spinning counterclockwise. And guess what they make? They make a figure 8 shape in the middle where that spiraling yin and yang energy makes a figure 8. And that's joining yin yang with the God's presence. That's all I mean, that's as clear as I can get it. I'm still trying to wrap my head around. See, this is stabilized. So in December 11, 2022, I did teachings about the Merkabah Star because I'd seen it in my mind. I looked up my notes. I had seen a Merkabah Star in my mind, but I didn't know what the hell it meant. And during meditation with that Zoom group out of LA, Deb Z told me that's a Merkabah Star. He said she's seen one too. And then I Googled it to research it. But see, I had not let go of enough of my evaluations, sorting, labeling, and judging of things, and letting go of them means let come and go and let be. And I wasn't doing short moments repeated many times of stopping to see the clear light of God's presence here in this moment. It's called Trechet, or Jesus's advanced forgiveness, cutting through. Cutting through is the secret of, of this high Dzogchen teaching. And why I'm discussing this again is this has come up two or three times in my Zoom group meeting there with that LA group, who are really, really on it, baby, of trying to awaken. And what do I explain is Timo, the man that coordinated, set up this group. He told us, I think, I forget if it was last Wednesday, but that Lama Sri Das had come to visit him because he had a reunion, first time he'd had an in-group meeting and since COVID. But they were discussing things while he was there because he's his guru. And Timo was trying to use the word metabolize about letting go these thoughts, feelings, and judgments. And he said, Lama Suri said, no, cutting through. It's cutting through, stretch it. And then that caused me to remember I've read in his books where when he uses the word secret, I dang pay attention more now in the last few years. But Trechet is the secret of Dzogchen, Dzogchen, which is the highest teaching of Buddha. It's not really a Buddhist practice, but it's in the Buddhist truths, I guess you might say, practices. And it means seeing through, being through, cutting through to see the clear light of God's presence right now. So I can almost guarantee you, if you made a sticky note and put the word Trechet or cutting through, seeing through on it, and you carried that sucker around or you put it in your kitchen or by your chair, and as often as you can, you just stop and look out and think about, I'm going to see through my TV. And there's clear light there of God's presence. You may not see it yet. You may see spaciousness, but just thinking that way is transformative and frees up the clogged up judgments in this bridge that's between the left brain, physical hemisphere, and the spiritual right brain hemisphere, where the two then start communicating, where the sacred geometry wakes up. But if you don't practice, it's going to take longer for all this to happen. The other thing that is occurring is it's due to this spinning, let's see, clockwise top of this top pyramid and this counterclockwise spinning pyramid. They're spinning. I get so I can be with them when they're spinning in opposite directions. This wind from those two opposite spinnings freed up these two drops to where they came together, joined, and dropped within the great ray to rejoin back to live with God's presence. No longer is my mind split. The Course of Miracles calls it a split mind. Yeah, you got two things going on, this physical hemisphere and the right brain spiritual hemisphere, they aren't talking. But with those practices, the workbook lessons, and other things you're doing, you're opening the bridge so they talk to each other. But anyway, what I realize is as I sit with this energy, this light energy, as it's rotating and spinning, making this figure eight shape that's smooth, so quiet, is the light energy. The great ray light energy comes in, comes down, and it goes up. When it comes in, it radiates. It radiates. When that force goes up, what that force causes this light energy to be reabsorbed in all your cells. Just thinking about this, visualizing light, the great ray comes in from above your head, down that crown chakra, down the central channel, down to the root chakra, then turns. At the root chakra is that yang drop that's waiting there to come up and be joined with this crown chakra, yang drop. It's going up and down. So when it comes down, it radiates. When it goes up, it's the pressure of that upward force pushes that light energy into your cells where you're reabsorbing this light. Then it goes back up to source, comes back down, goes back up. Now, why I'm explaining this is I never understood that. I thought it was two separate things. It's not. It's one continuous, it's not even feels like a movement, but it's continuous. Now, that's non duality, not two-ness, because the God light comes in, reabsorbed, goes back up, radiates, reabsorbed, and radiates. This means there's no separation between the form it animates and source. Now, if you sit with that, you could save yourself some years of work because you're getting past two-ness, the self and other, inner and outer, subject, object. It's all God presence radiating and reabsorbing, radiating, reabsorbing. The light never changes at all, never changes. The energy's never lost. Even when someone's acting negatively, the energy is never lost. It's just energy expressing differently. Not two-ness. There's never two-ness. There only is God's presence radiating and reabsorbing through everything. That's the interconnectedness, the non-separability of everything. I never understood that. Okay, I'm looking at my notes. Let's see what else we got here. Now, so this Merkabah, 7-pointed star. The star is 6 points, but the center point is the still center point that is the great ray center, is the 7th point that where the great ray light comes in and goes out, or radiates and reabsorbs. That's the 7 dimensions. And during awakening, you're going to we go through 7 dimensions of awakening. And so I Googled that. I Googled, what does the 7th dimension of the mind, what's that mean? Opening the 7 dimensions of the mind. You can Google that. And I'll be darned if I didn't get a whole list here. That AI is pretty, you always double check. Sometimes it doesn't always, because I know a few things, then I know what to look for. But in general, AI is pretty good at explaining this. But I'm going to read this. Opening the 7th dimension of the mind is described in spiritual, metaphysical, and consciousness studies as a state of pure silent awareness. See, that's what I was trying to describe what happened. Just pure silent awareness. That block of silent awareness that then changed to just the stillness of that spiraling like elliptical figure eight yin yang shape that's going right through the body from the top of the crown chakra to the root chakra. Um, Often termed self-realization and absolute consciousness. Now, again, I'm wanting to say why this occurs is because you're practicing Trechet, Jesus Advanced Forgiveness, space mingling, sky gazing meditation. Um, Letting go means letting come and go. Mindfulness of what you're doing while you're doing it. There's nothing to see and no one's seeing it. Just sit with that for a few different days in a row and see if you don't bust open to clear light. There's nothing to see and no one's seeing anything. I'm not doing that to scare you because that's not the purpose of it. That's what ego will do with it. But it is this clear light essence that permeates, animates, infuses everything that is here for you to see. Um, but this this state of pure silent awareness, see, we're awakening ordinary awareness to nowness awareness, being aware right now of what you're doing while you're doing it. Now, it came to me when I was reading that big Hamid Ali's the inner journey home. What was I going to tell you is, oh, is when a person awakens and touch and you stabilize. So you awaken and get glimpses, and then you'll fall back into a lower dimension. And then you go wonder, well, why am I reacting now? I thought I was beyond this. Well, you just haven't quite stabilized this new view, and you're just needing to let go of a little more judgments that are stored in your mind body continuum. But the thing is, even when awakened, that book talks about this awakened awareness, it falls back in the form because it's living in the form. It's not just in the absolute, it's back in the form. So, guess what happens? The six senses of thinking, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, feeling, for your six senses, they're happening. In one moment, in 1 second, there's 1,500 mind moments. Wham, wham, wham. How much are you consciously aware of versus sleepwalking? But the point is, all this stimuli is going on. When awake, you learn to let them come and go in this open, clear light, this spaciousness. That's your true nature of mind, this openness, spaciousness, vastness, clearness is purity, showing you your purity. But these thoughts, feelings, sensations come and go in this clear light. Even when awakened, a person can still react. They still can have a reaction to one of those stimuli because they're living within a body. But that's when we use our toolkit of flicking our eyes, closed eyes, flicking our eyes up, 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 flicking eyes up, or flicking our eyes right and left, breaks up that delusion, breaks up the confusion. You feel, and like Jerry and I were emailing or together, and she said she remembered to, I forget, take a breath or let go of something. And I'm going like, oh, girl, because how that's what we're wanting to do is recognize we're caught up, entangled in something, and let it go, just to be. And then you're back in the next moment of whatever's showing up in your mind or out in front of your face. We're learning how to respond and not react to the six, being aware of them, which gives you a pause before all this activity, before reaction. But anyway, don't, I want to clarify, don't think just because you awaken, you won't be reacting anymore. Excuse me. Or some calamity may not occur because it could. And ultimately, death will occur. But other things can occur. But it's not the cards we're dealt, it's how we play the hand. So now, with cultivating nowness awareness, being in the moment, being aware, oh, I'm feeling this pain. Now I'm recounting some um, worst pain I had. I'm going into a memory. With awareness, you're aware of thought, you're aware of no thought. That brings you back to the now. And you're in the now moment, aware of how you're feeling. You're learning to breathe in and out of how you feel, along with whatever else your doctor or you are doing with your health. But being with it, feeling it, not denying it, not repressing it, because that just holds it away from you, resisting it, and it will come back with more force. You're just breathe in and out of it, breathe in and out of it. Oh, I was just at my 6 month doctor visit, and I have a left knee that had that ACL tear, so sometimes it hurts. And my doctor asked me, do you take Tylenol? And I said, no, I don't take Tylenol anymore. He goes, well, what do you do when you have pain? I said, I breathe in and out of it and I meditate. And he went, oh, you do? That's great. But this is practical. This is called the middle way. We're not often either the one ditch that says, oh, none of this matters. It's all an illusion. I don't have to do squat. I don't have to be kind, loving kindness. I don't have to be empathetic or compassionate or caring with my fellow brothers and sisters. Oh, no, no, it's all an illusion. Versus the other side is just totally that it's all real. No, it's just dewdrop like, dream like, mirage like a lightning strike. Our images, even though they look like they live 1 year or 90 years or 100 years, that is a dewdrop moment in the speck of billions of years of time. So this life is dewdrop like, mirage like, dream like. And that's those words I'm using now because these forms are actual gods and goddesses walking the holy earth, because they're creations of God. This same loving light, clear light that created us is us, is our clear light essence. Like um, Dee and Ed and I were talking about before we started recording. I hope I can say this. Dee, can I share this story, Dee? He, oh, she's leaning back. I'll hold it. Well, there was a story. Can I share the story? Oh, she's shaking her head. Yes. Great. Okay. She was walking in her living room. In the living room, there's a mirror on the wall that her parents had in this very same house that she lives in now. And she leaned down to pick up a toy tractor that Lucas, the little 3-year-old toy Lucas was playing with it. No one to step on it. And she leaned down and she looked up. She looked in the mirror. There was an image of her like when she was in her 20s, looking back at her. And here's the explanation that came to me is nowness awareness. In nowness awareness, all the other time periods happen simultaneously. That's why these enlightened beings can look back and see all their past lifetimes. See, that's the past. She looked back, and when she's in her 20s, she looked back, could see herself in the 20s. She was younger, or the future. They are clairvoyant. They see the future. I mean, that's because they've opened to their God mind, where this nowness awareness is their Buddha Standard Time, this blue book we're reading. Nowness. In nowness, everything's happening simultaneously. But I want to get back to, because this image is vibrating light, it looks like it's staying around uh, it's 50, 60, 70, 80 years. But moment to moment, this image is coming and going. It's vibrating, coming, radiating, and reabsorbing. Moment to moment, it's here and it's not here. That's why it's called dewdrop like, mirage like, dream like. But yet, it's if you poke it, it's going to damn hurt and bleed. And we don't do that. We don't harm ourselves. It's the God presence experiencing being in this human form. So we are, everything is gods and goddesses walking the holy earth. There's nothing but God's presence. Unfortunately, some people have not remembered this, so they're not acting godly. It doesn't mean their essence isn't pure God. Now, I said tonight, I wrote my email, we're going to do an exercise from the book, Buddha Standard Time. And next week, I'll probably read about those 7 dimensions. what happens when you open to all these 7 dimensions of your Merkabah star? Let me see. Where's the little, oh, okie dokie. I thought I had any more. Oh, here it is. Breathe, smile, and relax is page 29. You can begin to incorporate the following simple awareness practice. Here we're talking about awareness, cultivating awakened nowness awareness from this ordinary awareness that just sees 2 objects, just sees separate objects everywhere. And this simple awareness practice is called breathe, smile, relax into your busy life right now. From the time Siddhartha, that's Buddha, sat under the leafy Bodhi tree, the fig tree where he attained complete enlightenment, with the turquoise sky overhead. Oh, that's so beautiful. A rustling brook to one side and golden rice fields stretching to the horizon. This exercise has been done in one form or another for more than 2,500 years. The first, in quotes, mindful moments, in a quote, exercise of this book will help you awaken to natural time and its coursing pulses and cadences. See, this practice is practicing mindful moments. A breath break, it's called. Still sitting still in a quiet place, ideally outdoors in nature, but indoors if you like. Bring all of your attention to your body as you fill your lungs with one deep, deep breath, and then let out in a long sigh. If you are truly attentive, your mind will be clear of all distractions for 10 whole seconds, while your body is nourished with extra oxygen and your heart is touched with a little divine peace. Even with only one breath cycle, you may have felt a touch of serenity, a little loosening of your jaw, an ability to think more clearly afterward. So simple, a trip into natural time, exclamation mark. Try it again. 3 breaths or more might be needed, depending on your own self-awareness and inclination. Breathe deep, smile, relax. Let's see what else I want to. I'm just going to read that. That's the exercise on page 29 and 30. Just try that during the day. Okay, now let's see. It is 8 p.m., so I shall stop. Any thoughts or comments before I stop the recording? Angela, you got something, honey? Nope, not yet. Till after the. Okay, I thought I saw something. Okay. Oh, but it comes to just reiterate everything is God's presence. We're just not aware of it. We've not opened to it. So this breathe, smile, relax. He says, like in 10 seconds, you can feel. You can feel. If you're truly attentive, your mind will be clear of all distractions for 10 whole seconds, while your body's nourished with extra oxygen and your heart is touched with a little divine peace. That openness is what will be your way of living once, as more and more as you awaken, as you let go of more of these thoughts, feelings, labeling, naming, sorting, and evaluating of the sixth sense stimuli, to learn to let them come and go, and be aware when I cling on to one or push one away and just let go. Because awareness is curative. When you're aware you're clinging, that'll automatically let it go. Okay, I will. So let's go around the screen, look at the tiles. And this is another moment of opening up this bridge between the left and right side of the brain, where we're thinking of our brothers and sisters as holy gods, Christ, Buddhists, the clear light of spirit, just like Jesus says, look beyond the body to the clear light of spirit that's here right now. There's God Ed, God Lynn, God Dee, God Jerry, God Debbie, God Angela, God Glenda. And those that are missing tonight, let's just add in our whole, all sentient beings, gods, small g goddesses, demigods, humans, animals, hungry ghosts, and denizens in hell, all sentient beings. May they be safe, happy, free, free from suffering. Maybe there be an end to war, violence, poverty, injustice, oppression, and inequality. And may we all together complete the spiritual journey, one family, one circle, all the way home. Amen. Thank you. Thank you for coming out this evening. I love you each dearly.